Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast, Very Factual. We're your hosts, Kayla.
And Izabella, and what a week it was in the world of football. The Champions League got started back up, and there was some amazing Premier League games this weekend. But we'll kick it off in the Champions League when Newcastle made their Champions League return for the first time since 2003 with the lively matchup against AC Milan at the San Siro. 0-0 was how it ended, with Newcastle having to thank Nick Pope for the shot stopping with 7 saves alone in the first half. Milan charged at the Magpies' goal with 25 shots overall and 9 on target. Rafael Leao was the main threat going forward with plenty of chances, which gave Newcastle quite the scare. Newcastle could have came away with the win in this game, with Sean Longstaff almost nicking in a win in stoppage time, but it was parried away by sub goalkeeper Marco Sportello. They came away with a point from this one with by a very wasteful Milan side, but it won't get easier from here as Newcastle have to face PSG next in the Champions League. Kayla, this wasn't quite the result we were expecting.
No, it wasn't what we were expecting. I mean, 0-0, I was pretty set on Milan winning based off of Newcastle's form in the Premier League this season,
Yeah.
but they really picked it up and pushed in this game to at least not go home with a loss. Overall, I know Milan did play better, but I am surprised Newcastle managed to keep the game a tie.
Yeah, I think Newcastle should be very happy with this
Mhm.
result because it could have been way worse.
Yeah.
Um Obviously, Milan had the edge being like the bigger team, and Newcastle were outplayed in some moments of the game. They were I feel like they were very shy and they didn't want to
Mhm.
really try anything. Maybe it's cuz they were away from the Champions League from so long, and I feel like Nick Pope was really their star player of the game because it could have been crazy. Like they could have been like they Milan could have won this game like 5-0 or something, and if Newcastle continue to play, kind of like this kind of like lousy kind of game, I feel like they're definitely going to get knocked out because they
Mhm.
are, like we said, in the group of death with
Mhm.
Dortmund, PSG, and Milan. And it just doesn't look like the Newcastle from last season. Like there was so much cohesion in the team, and they really deserved their Champions League spot last season, but now they're not really making up for it. Um, but on Milan's side, Milan should be really embarrassed by their performance in this
Mhm.
game. So many chances. There was 25 shots.
Oh my gosh.
25 shots. How do you miss all of them? And um Rafael Leao, he I feel like he had the most chances out of any Milan player in this game. There was just carelessness by him. I know there was this one chance that he had that he tried to do a little tricky little back heel thing. Like play the game. Put the ball in the net. Stop doing some little
Mhm.
it's
I
not worth it.
Yeah, I feel like Milan just, was a little too cocky going into the game,
Yes,
because,
definitely.
they definitely I feel like they were just, were in that mindset, like, "Oh, we're definitely gonna win. It's just Newcastle and everything," but as they were playing, I don't think they kinda realized it isn't Newcastle, they were really trying their hardest to keep it a tie.
Yeah, I think Milan also have kind of started off the season kind of like not on the wrong foot, but they've been kind of meh.
Mhm.
I will say and I feel like this game is definitely going to feel like a loss for them because they really should have won. This
No,
game
yeah.
was literally set for them, and I'm really surprised that Milan didn't come away with like a 3-1 victory because they really should have.
Yeah, last episode, we were saying how, Milan was definitely gonna win.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's no problem, but it's just they didn't perform. Like, Newcastle should be very happy with the tie because
Oh
everyone
yeah.
was expecting, Milan to be, 3-1, 4-2, you know?
I know, but something like about Newcastle is that they got lucky.
Mhm.
They got
For sure.
so lucky because it could have been worse, and they kind of have to pick it up because they're not going to get lucky each game. Like PSG have been they beat Dortmund, which we'll talk about later. Like you can't you're not going to get lucky every single game, so you actually have to perform.
You can't base your games off of luck.
I know. PSG got their Champions League campaign off to a great start, beating Borussia Dortmund 2-0. Luis Enrique's side dominated the first half and got a controversial penalty shot down for a Nicolas Zule handball. After the half, PSG get the same exact penalty, and of course, they were awarded it this time. Mbappe took the penalty and made it 1-0. 10 minutes later, Hakimi made a very nice goal against his former club, sealing the win for PSG. So the first half of this game, I would say it was very bland. There wasn't really anything to like look at. Everything just really came in the second half. And speaking of the second half, the penalty that they were awarded, it was the correct decision because it did hit Nicolas Zule's hand. And those are the laws of the game. Like even though it looked like a natural position, like I understand he couldn't really take his like hand away or do anything about it. It's in the laws, so it is like literally a penalty. And something bright about PSG, I think they looked very disciplined for the first time in a while. Like PSG have always been known as that like egotistical club. Like they've been nicknamed a couple times FC Hollywood because of all the egos that they had in the dressing room. And they really stuck to Luis Enrique's plans, and if they continue, they'll have a good chance at winning because I know this is something PSG have wanted for a while, and they've had teams that can do it. It's just they don't have that mentality. Like I said, it was FC Hollywood, and all they have to do is continue this form, and they might have a chance against Manchester City in the final. I'm calling it right now. Dortmund, on the other hand, they looked like Dortmund. Like nothing special came from them. Again, they also started off their season on kind of a wonky foot. They got exposed in the midfield a lot. Um, their defense made many mistakes. Like if you press their defense enough, they'll crack, and you're literally through on goal. I like Nico Schlotterbeck he's not that good of a defender. Nicolas Zule, I've never really liked him either, and um, they don't really have a good record at comeback wins, so I'm not really surprised they're lost. And then I think that this group is gonna end up being PSG and Milan going through to the next round.
Yeah, I agree with that. I was thinking maybe like Dortmund started to fall a little bit once Haaland and Bellingham kind of left. Like they were
Yeah,
a good team when they were on there. They were constantly working together. And then they left and I kind of wasn't really paying attention to them anymore, but like now I'm kind of realizing like once they left, they kind of like you said they started off on the wrong foot. They don't really
yeah.
have someone. They were like really depending on Haaland for goals, and now they don't really have one person to completely depend on, which they shouldn't be depending on one person to score goals, but you know.
They do have a striker, but he's nothing like Haaland. Like no one will
Mhm.
ever be anything like Haaland. Like Sebastian Haller, he's their striker. I'm pretty sure he played in this game. Like kind of forgot. It's just they can't score goals. I feel like they don't have a strong enough team. I mean, PSG is obviously a very dominant team. They
Yeah.
have really experienced international players, and I'm just not surprised that Dortmund lost at
Yeah,
all.
going into it, I knew that Dortmund would lose, but like I said, I feel like they kind of fell through once Haaland and Bellingham left.
Barcelona may have found their European footing with a runaway 5-0 win over Antwerp. João Felix continues his scoring form, making a brace in his game. Lewandowski and Rafinha both racked in one goal, and Gavi scored his first ever Champions League goal. We also got to see more of Lamine Yamal coming off the bench to become the second youngest debutant in Champions League history on a perfect first game for Xavi's side. Kayla, I want to talk about João Felix for a little bit. This is the start he wanted. This was the perfect start for him.
Mhm, he did really have a great start. I mean, 2 goals and one of them being the opening goal of the game. It's absolutely amazing for him and his future in Barcelona. Like, he absolutely shocked me when I know he's a great player, but, like, it shocked me how, like, great of a player I know he's gonna become.
Yeah, so I feel there was so much talk around him, right? Because he didn't fit into Atletico Madrid. Like Atletico Madrid play very defensively, and João Felix is very attacking. At Chelsea, also when he was loaned, he had some kind of like spells, just very minimal. Like whenever he came up with those goals that Chelsea really needed, there was like a light there. But the thing about him is that he's a very inconsistent player, and when he like let's just say there's a game that he does well in, usually the next game he's just going to fall off. But Barcelona looks like the complete opposite of that. Like I'm so happy that he found the club for him, even though this is just a loan. If he really continues this form, he will literally be undroppable in Xavi's side. I always rated him as a player. He has so much talent and he is still very young. And I'm just really happy he found the club for him. And hopefully Xavi can bring out the best in him because he can be one of the best, like you said.
He, like, clearly works very well with Barcelona and their players. Like I said, hopefully Xavi can, like, bring out the best of him and build him up the ladder, maybe he can get more, like, future signings and, like, great clubs. Like, FC Barcelona's a great club, but I'm just saying, like, you never know. Like, if he keeps this up the form, and he will be able to have a very successful future.
Yeah, hopefully Barcelona, if everything works out, they can sign him at the end of this loan because if he
Mhm.
really continues this, he can be one of the best and maybe they can build around him and Lewandowski and João Cancelo, the other João that Barcelona signed. He also looked very good. Like he assists a lot. He actually scored yesterday in Barcelona's goal against Celta Vigo, and João Felix also assisted Lewandowski. And it looks like the Joaos are just at it.
Some people said that they'll be like the dream team of Zhao's, and I was like, okay.
Yes, I literally love that. Real Madrid earned a late 3 points at home against Union Berlin. The first half was very quiet, and so was the second half until stoppage time when Madrid's informed man Jude Bellingham once again came to the rescue, capitalizing on Fede Valverde's blocked shot, winning the game for Real Madrid once again. Kayla, who else? Who else?
Love Jude Bellingham. He is
Yes.
such he is such an exceptional player. He's like the star of most of the teams he's on. He can always work well with players. He's like he knows he can always work with anyone. There's not one player that I haven't seen him do something well with on the field.
Yeah.
He can adjust to players easily, and he knows what to do when he has the ball, which is key to football. Like, you have to when you get the ball, you can't just pass or kick it wherever you want. You get the ball, you have to have a plan, and he always has a plan whenever he gets the ball.
Yeah, Jude is so good. There's not enough like superlatives to describe him. He is him. He
Mhm.
is him. he's not a striker at all, but he definitely has those qualities to be like he is always in the right spot.
He
He
knows where to stand, he knows where to run, he knows when
mhm.
to pass, when to keep the ball. He always has the right mindset. He's
Yes.
absolutely amazing. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, like he couldn't have like written this Madrid move better. This was the perfect move for him. And as much as I really me and you wanted him to go to Liverpool, um I think this worked out for the best now. The
For
I think
sure.
Real Madrid is maybe the second best team in the world after City.
Mhm,
And this is amazing. Like everyone was so nervous on like who's going to get the goals cuz Benzema left, right? And then
mhm.
Jude comes this summer, like this 19-year-old, then he marched in, right? He's scoring all the goals.
And he's still so young. He's gonna have a
20!
great future
He
ahead of him.
just turned 20.
I know. I really hope that, like, he doesn't get too comfortable
No, yeah.
and he just kinda becomes that player that, like, everyone relies on, and then he doesn't perform as well anymore because he knows he's that player that everyone relies on. But judging by how he's going so far, I don't think he's gonna, like, become that player, but, you know.
Yeah, like all the goals, I just want to bring up this. This is crazy to me. All the goals he scored for Real Madrid right now, they were all crucial ones and they were all in the 90th minute, but only one was in the 81st. What?
he's their last not their last resort, but he's like their like, if you need a goal, you have Jude
Yeah,
Bellingham.
don't even worry about it. He'll put one in like the second the game's gonna end. He
No
went
problem.
Yeah, he went in as like a really young star and now he literally launched himself. I feel like he's gonna be one of the best players in the world one day.
One, like, I don't know, but he's gonna be the best.
Yeah, Real Madrid are, like I said, they're lacking goals, and I feel like they will be good for most of La Liga and the group stages of the Champions League because they don't really have real competition. But they have no real striker, and they're gonna have to pick it up in the latter stages. And Jude's goals right now are really masking that problem. But I feel like
Mhm.
if you make it to like the semifinals of Champions League, the quarterfinals, and you're playing like maybe a PSG, maybe even Manchester City again, like we saw, um, you know, something's gonna have to step it up because you can only have there's a player can't be in form all their life, so there's obviously gonna be a time where Jude's gonna kind of, sit back and maybe not score those 90-minute goals every
Yeah.
single game. So I feel like they really have to figure that out. But right now, I feel like they could really soak it in.
Oh, yeah, for the next, like, few years, they could definitely rely on him for some goals. Not only him, because it's you can't just rely on one
Yeah.
player, but he's, like, amazing. You can definitely, rely on him for those goals at this time.
Manchester City got off to a perfect start after coming back from behind to beat Červena Zvezda 3-1. City had to come from behind, like I said. It was 1-0 at halftime, but they recouped in the second half and went on to score 3 goals, and Pep Guardiola's side impresses once again. There is really no one who looks like they're gonna give City a problem. Like obviously they went behind, but it didn't really matter to them because I think we all knew that they were gonna win. They're a really well-oiled machine, and if you look at other teams, they all have their flaws, and they don't look like a challenge for City. Like I don't want to say City look perfect, but they do.
They really do.
Obviously, there's, Madrid have their problems. We saw Bayern Munich, which we'll talk about a little bit later, have their problems. PSG have their problems. Like, but City just look so well. Like, there seems to be like nothing that's bothering them. And unless City take their foot like off the gas, like we saw in some semifinals and quarterfinals, like 2 seasons ago, I remember one against Real Madrid. That's when other teams can creep up and kind of challenge them. But right now, I think City could win the Champions League again, and it's theirs to lose. Like, um, I don't want to say. I feel like obviously Pep said that the treble is going to be impossible for them to win, but it literally looks like they could win it again.
If they really put their mind to it, they honestly really could.
Yeah.
I just think, Pep doesn't wanna get all the fans promise them something that they
Yeah.
can't for sure promise.
Mhm.
So, City have started well in the UCL and Premier League and continue their perfect Premier League form with an expected win against Nottingham Forest. Phil Foden and Haaland scored the only 2 goals early in the first half. Second half did not lack action as Rodri was sent off with after a clash with Morgan Gibbs-White right at the start. City will now have to survive 3 games without Rodri, most importantly being the October 8th showdown against Arsenal.
Um, they were cruising. City were really cruising through this game. They had for the Foden goal. They had a 46 pass sequence, 46 passes to go to goal. That's insane. Uh, and I think the biggest miss out of this game is that they need Rodri.
Mhm.
There was really for that challenge, right? It wasn't really a challenge. It was just kind of a fight. There was no need for Rodri to get involved the way he did. He should have controlled his emotions because he should have known what was coming. Like hitting a player in the chest, like striking a player in the chest is an automatic red card, and I feel like he should have known that. Because he is such a crucial player for City. Like Rodri, I would say he's irreplaceable for City. They won't just miss his passing for the next 2 games, but miss him up top. Like, he's always stepped up in big games, like we saw Champions League final. He's always in the right place. He's very smart. He has a really amazing passing IQ. Like, it is insane. Obviously, they might have Bernardo Silva back because he is coming back from a really short-term injury. They might have Stones back. Calvin Phillips looked actually pretty all right in this game, I would say, and Mateus Nunez also looks good, but literally no one can replace Rodri. I think he maybe has been City's best player this season so far. And it didn't look like they were gonna concede like at all in this game, but there was really that extra pressure on them because they were playing with 10 men. And so the door might open to Arsenal. Like we said, October 8th is when the Arsenal City clashes. But if Arsenal can't beat City in a few weeks without Rodri, you can literally start carving the name on the trophy because the title's going to be City's if Arsenal can't beat. I mean,
yeah.
Wait, what did I say?
I actually don't remember.
The title is going to be City's if Arsenal cannot beat City without Rodri.
Oh, yeah, like you were saying, Rodri is irreplaceable, but I feel like City does have players they could replace him with, but not to the skill level and to the extent of, like, the passing IQ, like you said, that he has, but they do have players they can put in his position to possibly help them a little bit more. It's like they depend on Rodri. They have players, it's just not to the, skill level that Rodri's at.
Yeah, they have really good depth, but Rodri has been really the guy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But like on a side note, I think Phil Foden played really well. I feel like there's so much competition at City like in the forward line, but if like Foden gives give City something different and he can take players on well and he needs to really be productive and consistent if he wants to start for Manchester City all the time because that forward line is competitive and not just the forward line, like the whole City team is competitive because they have like crazy experienced international players on the bench. Like what other team has that?
They have players they can replace anytime, like, their players on
Mm-hmm.
their forward line at least is, like, amazing, their competition. I don't think Holland will ever not start unless he's injured,
I
but,
mean,
like
uh,
sorry, go ahead.
obviously there's games that Holland does not start because like if they're like easier
Oh, yeah.
games, then you can obviously save him. But they have Julian Alvarez, which is
Mhm.
an equal replacement, I would say.
They're pretty similar, yeah. Manchester respectably lost against Bayern Munich in the action-packed game on Wednesday. In the first half, Bayern was up by 2 goals, scored in the 28th and 32nd minute. Second half kicked off and United quickly scored, honestly giving me some hope for United. But soon in the but soon in the 53rd minute, Bayern was rewarded a penalty because of a handball by Christian Eriksen. Harry Kane scored the giving Bayern a 2-goal advantage. Time was ticking and it seemed as though 1 would be the final score, but Casemiro in the 88th minute scored for United. Then just 2 minutes in added time, Tell scored for making it 4-2. Manchester United didn't give up, and once again, Casemiro scored 3 minutes after. Soon after, the final whistle blew, leaving Bayern Munich at a 4-3 win against Manchester United. Honestly, I fully expected Manchester United to lose this, but them scoring 3 goals against Bayern Munich is honestly
Mm-hmm.
baffling to me. 3 for the final score. And I know Onana didn't make the best saves.
No. Oh my gosh.
He went on TNT Sports and said that, and I quote, "I'm the one who let the team down," and he also added, "The team went down because of my mistakes. I have to learn from them. I have to learn from it and be strong, move on. It was one of my worst games." And honestly, I think you can't just blame the goalie in
Mm-mm.
too much. I mean, he
Yeah.
does have fault in this game, but it's a team effort. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of team effort, one day in Spanish class, I was really bored watching a Manchester United Everton game from the FA Cup last season, And oh my gosh, Manchester United was a complete team. They were calm, they were
Yeah.
composed, the players were thinking before they moved the ball. And every move they make, they looked like they could work together. And it was in the beginning of Eric Ten Hag's coaching career. And when I was watching it, I was like, where did this team go? Like, I was thinking,
Mhm.
like, did Eric Ten Hag maybe get too comfy, or are the players like, did they get too comfy with him and not perform with him? And like watching, I was like, where did Manchester United team go? You know?
Yeah, yeah. So this game, like you said, it was 4-3, but it was the most un-4-3 game, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like, you would have thought these teams were playing amazing, right? Like at each other all the
It was
time,
like
constantly.
action-packed, constant fighting, but
Like it was action packed because of the goals, but it just these both of these teams have been kind of meh. I
mhm.
always use that word, but like there's no other way to describe it. Like I actually think Manchester United played really good until the first goal, until the Onana mistake, and then they
Oh yeah.
literally folded like dominoes, right? You hit the first one, all of them fall down. That is exactly what happened. They I'm gonna talk about Onana for a second as a former goalkeeper. They obviously brought in Onana because he was better with the ball at his feet than David De Gea. And obviously playing with the ball at your feet is something that is like it's crucial for a modern day goalkeeper, but he can't.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't want to blame him too much, but he can't do the most basic thing of a goalkeeper. He cannot stop the ball with his hands.
No, I know. He's really lacking in that sense, even though he's a goalkeeper. Like I said, you can't blame him too much, but at least he was fully aware of his mistakes. Like
Yeah.
he said he'll learn and try to be stronger and move on. And honestly, I hope he's actually sticking to his word because judging by how the season has been going, it's like he has good days, he has bad days, and it was
Mhm.
just it was like you said the domino, kind of like dominoes. When one
Yeah.
player kind of falls down, the rest fall down. It's not like they can't, keep it together even though the other team's already winning.
Yeah, like the goal that he let in the first one, it was literally a basic warm up save. That is a
Mhm.
save that you should make in warm up, and that is a save you should make in a game. And then after that goal, Bayern kept attacking, right? They got their goals, but the only reason this game wasn't a runaway goal for Bayern, and I have a more kind of Bayern perspective on this, is because Bayern have their own problems, and they really switched off and gave United the chances, and United capitalized on them. Bayern could have got more, like definitely, but their midfield gets extremely exposed. Like Leon Goretzka, he is not in form at all, and he does not have that energy for Bayern. And I definitely think he could be benched for the long term because Joshua Kimmich needs a good partner because he is kind of like that leader in the midfield. But United also have their problems, like their midfield also has really big problems. They're not giving defense protection, right? They're not giving their defensive line protection.
Mhm.
Casemiro continues his poor form. He's getting exposed and he needs cover. Like he needs someone to cover for his mistakes. Like Mason Mount we saw is not it. He's not going to be the guy. Amrabat, he just came back from injury. He played in the Burnley game like the last few minutes. We need to see more of him and see if he can be that Casemiro cover because Casemiro is getting older and he doesn't have that extra yard or two.
Mhm.
Um, and United just played so open. Bayern had so much room. And when you give Bayern room, you're strengthening the players. Like, I just want to say, like, real quickly, like, there was this one play, right? Where Jamal Musiala, he had the ball. He turned around. He looked. No one was coming to press him. So he's like, okay, I'm just going to take all this room, right? Absolutely no one pressing him. And you need that. Like, this isn't some, like, little kid game. Like, I feel like you know what to do. And I seriously didn't think they'd score at all, but like you said, they got lucky. And I remember last episode you also said that Bayern, Man United need a lot of luck in this game, and I think they got that.
Mhm. I honestly forgot about Mason Mount. You mentioned him and I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's on United." So, they're not really using a lot of their players to their advantage.
Well, Mount's
Like,
injured,
well,
so
yeah, I know Mount can't play right now, but I'm just saying, like, they do have a decent amount of good players. It's just like they aren't training well. And like I said, maybe they got a little bit too comfortable with Ten Hag, or Ten Hag got too comfortable with them, and they aren't just pushing themselves to be the amazing players that they can be. They're just kind of depending on luck. And like this game, like you said, and I said before, they need luck, and they got it, but I mean, they still lost.
you literally brought up my next point so perfectly. I think Man United have actually some good players. They have really experienced international players. But this summer was supposed to be that summer where Man United kind of rebuilds. Some of these players that are there have been there since Jose Mourinho. Some of them have been there since Ole Gunnar. Ole, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have such a hard time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There we go. There we go.
Solskjaer.
Solskjaer. I think they just need some new players. Ten Hag obviously brought in players that he wants, but it doesn't look like they have a plan on what to do. Everything looks half-hearted from them. When they're defending, it looks half-hearted. They're not going in for the challenge. Midfield, also half-hearted. Forward line, also half-hearted. They're not getting back to help the defense. And you can only blame the players for so long until it comes down for the manager. And maybe I'm saying this too early. I probably am. But, if things get even more tough this season, then you really have to look at Ten Hag and ask if he's the right guy for them.
Because last season, like I said, I was watching a game from last season from the
Mm-hmm.
FA Cup, and they were like almost flawless. They were playing, they were thinking with what they were gonna do, and now I'm watching them. There's some things, some plays that they're doing that the third and fourth graders that I coach can do better than them. Like some of the plays, like it's
Yeah.
just so they just kind of kicking it sometimes. There's no thought behind the process of what United is doing. They're just depending on luck, like I've said, and they have those international players they could use. It's just they're not training them to work together as a team and work with each other as they should be. Okay, Manchester United took on Burnley at Turf Moor with a win of 1-0. Bruno Fernandes scored a lucky goal in the 45th minute, but Burnley wasn't giving up. They kept trying to score but hit the post. Onana made some pretty great saves this game. Overall, Burnley played and performed better, but they just couldn't finish their shots. Like, in my opinion, based off of how each team was performing, Burnley deserved the win, and Manchester United once again just got lucky. But from this win, I am happy to say that Manchester United moved up to ninth place on the Premier League table. Still, it's very sad to see that United just barely won against the team in danger of relegation.
Yeah, I actually only thing you can say about this game is they got 3 points. There's
They
nothing special about how they played at all. I
they
actually had a
honestly got
hard
lucky.
Yeah, I had a hard time coming up with stuff to say. They got outplayed, I guess.
Mhm.
Burnley really outpassed them. I didn't expect Burnley to score as much anyways because they haven't. Even though I
Yeah.
said that they're not getting relegated, I might have to change that because it looks like they might. But United needed these 3 points, I will say, to rebuild some confidence.
Mhm.
They have some really easy fixtures coming up, so hopefully they can get a run of form going before their match against City in late October, which I am so excited about.
I know, I'm so excited. I mean, although I know United's gonna get crushed, I'm so excited to see it.
Wow, Kayla, so much confidence in your team.
Okay, well, look at how they're doing. Like the beginning of the table, they were like close to the bottom along with Chelsea, and like now they just
We don't talk
they
about
they
that. We don't talk about that.
they got lucky. They did, and like I watched like the first 20 minutes of this game, and then I had to leave to go do something. But Burnley scored on they almost scored. They got on the post. Onana made two great saves, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just they got lucky to
They're
be like to win. And Burnley, they didn't finish their shots, sure, but they hit the post, I think, twice. That's just pure unlucky. Like that, so close, and it's just I'm happy that United won. It's just I don't think it was very well deserved based off of how they were playing
it's
compared to
like a
Burnley.
relief almost. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we actually, whew.
and it
Like,
shouldn't be.
no,
It really shouldn't
you
be.
should run away with this game. It's a team that came out of the championship. They should run away with this game. Like, City beat them, I believe it was 3 or 4-0 at the beginning of the season. Like, that's what it should be, not a 1-0 game that you said they got lucky. It shouldn't be that.
Honestly, and Manchester United has been getting really lucky recently. Like we said, I don't know how many times we just said lucky in like the past
I
5 minutes,
know.
but they are. It's just it's what's happening. It's just they don't have form. They're not performing the way that they should, and it's just they're just relying on, oh, is this gonna go in or not? If it doesn't, oh well. Like they have to put more pressure on, work together better, and I'm not sure what they can do to like figure that out, but that's Ten Hag's job. Like he needs to figure out
Yeah.
how to make them more of a team.
Luck can only get you so far.
Mhm.
It's gonna come down to the way you play sooner or later, like maybe even in the City game. Because if they don't, then they're literally getting run over.
If Manchester United wins against City, I'm literally gonna make a cake in celebration. Like, like it's just
Kayla,
gonna
I'm
be
sorry,
so.
they're not winning. I mean, maybe luck, maybe luck.
Maybe luck will be in their favor again. You never
Yes,
know.
you never know. The most anticipated game of this week, the North London derby, ended in a thrilling 2-2 draw. Arsenal would take the lead with Saka's shot deflecting off of Christian Romero. Son then equalized right before halftime, taking the pressure off Spurs. Romero again had a blunder as he gifted Arsenal a penalty, with Saka converted. Just moments later, Son rescued the game for Spurs, making each side walk off with a point each. Um, this was seriously one of the best North London derbies yet. I think it will go down as one of the great ones because of the competitiveness in both teams. Like, they both started off really well. Arsenal have started off amazingly, like last season as well. Spurs have just been amazing this season with Postecoglou. They have just really like found their identity, and
Mhm.
I really love the way they play. And no one was really, I know some people were saying Arsenal to win, but I feel like it was very 50-50. Like, the match was literally really, it was fairly even throughout. Spurs.
Honestly, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, honestly, the match was like literally 50-50. I mean, 2-2. The stats were 13 shots for both teams. The possession was almost 50-50 exactly. Like
Yeah.
both teams really wanted the win. And Arsenal, maybe they got a little bit lucky with their two goals. It was an own goal and a penalty, but it was like really it was a good game. It was a really good game. It was very action-packed. And
Mhm.
it was kind of shocking game because if you were to tell me that Arsenal was playing Tottenham like 1 month ago, I would have laughed and said Arsenal's winning for sure. But this season, Arsenal isn't like they're doing great, but they aren't meeting my very high expectations I had set for them. And Spurs are like exceeding my low
Oh
expectations.
yeah, definitely. It was a very entertaining game. There was times both sides enjoyed like moments of pressure, and then they came under fire, and it was just back and forth. Like, Spurs sometimes got caught off guard and got outplayed, but that's really part of the game. And Spurs have had such a mentality shift since last season, since under Antonio Conte. And I just love the way they play now. Like, I think they really, I said this last episode, they really found their guy, and Postecoglou like brought hope almost into this Spurs side.
For sure.
And speaking of Arsenal now, it looks like, we spoke of this last episode, it looks like David Raya is now Mikel Arteta's number one goalkeeper. Raya has started since the Everton game. He played last weekend and played against PSV in the Champions League, and now the North London derby. And Arteta said that he wants to rotate his goalkeepers like any other position, but I don't think you can do that. Like, I think
No, the
the go ahead.
No, so I was gonna say the players have to get used to their goalie. You can't just
Yeah.
rotate them all the time. You have to pick one. And if you want to rotate them like seasons, like one season this one, I guess you can do that because for preseason the players can get used to their goalie. But it's just he has 2 phenomenal goalies. It's just you have to pick which one you wanna keep, and I guess he's going with David Raya, but if he constantly keeps on switching them, it's not gonna really go in their favor, I don't
No,
think.
I want to know why he did this though. Like, was there something that Ramsdale did? Was Ramsdale not meeting Arteta's expectations? Like, I really want to know why because I said this last episode. I back Ramsdale 100%. He should be. He is my Arsenal number one goalkeeper. I don't care what Arteta says. He should be Arsenal's number one goalkeeper. I feel like the players are used to him. He has like this edge to him. He's very exciting and he makes mistakes, yeah, but like that's part of the job.
Mhm.
Um yeah.
So for, like, argument's sake, like, I love both of the goalies, I have nothing against either of them, but it's just if I was to be on, like, for David Raya, I would say something like, I don't know, I just feel like, with Ramsdale was just maybe the players just got too used to him or got too comfortable on the field, I don't know. There's not really anything I could say, like, horrible about him, but there's not anything I can also say horrible about David Raya, like, there's
Yeah.
maybe, the coach he just wanted someone new, someone fresh on the field, a new face maybe, because he knows that he's just as great as Ramsdale, so,
I'm
I don't think that there was an exact reason. That's just my
I'm
opinion, though.
yeah, I'm just like really kind of like shocked because I actually thought Ramsdale was going to start this game since he
Mhm.
he knows kind of like this. Like they played North London Derby last season. Um And it literally looks like Ramsdale's career at Arsenal may be coming to a close. Maybe Chelsea can kind of pop their heads in and be like, "What's up?" I would love him at Chelsea. To replace Robert Sanchez, who I am not a fan of at all. But again, speaking of Spurs, I think Son was the man of the match. He was my man of the
Oh,
match.
yeah.
Like all expectation fell on Son when Harry Kane left, and he delivered. Like in this North London derby, he scored twice. He worked off the ball. There was so much effort that he was putting in, like off the ball work. He had such an authoritative edge, like on all the players all throughout the field, and Spurs have just been reborn ever since Harry Kane left.
Oh, yeah, I feel like they like I have mentioned probably in, like, the last, what, 5 episodes or something, they just were depending on Harry Kane so much that
Mm-mm.
just now without him, they were finally learning to work as a team and not depending on one player.
Yeah. So the last few episodes of Very Factual, we have had this like segment for Chelsea because I'm a major Chelsea fan, but I just don't know what to say about them anymore. They lost to Aston Villa today 1-0 with Ollie Watkins scoring in the 73rd minute. Chelsea they can't score. They can't do anything. Like they were reduced to 10 men after the break with Malo Gusto getting a red card, which I think is horrible because Reece James is injured and then Malo Gusto was their literally only replacement right back. Um, I I seriously don't know what to say. Like this is
There's
horrible.
there's, like, nothing to say, it's just we've already said, like, how much we're disappointed in Chelsea and how much, like it's just they aren't fixing their performance, they don't even have luck on their side, they have
No,
nothing, like, it's just they're not and with Reece James, like you said, injured, and it's just they're not gonna have a replacement. I just feel like it's gonna keep going downhill for Chelsea. And I did read somewhere that Chelsea might go into relegation, but I'm
I
like,
saw.
no. But I'm like, no. But now I'm
Okay,
thinking, you never know. They're not doing what Chelsea's supposed to be doing.
I I I don't know what to say. Like Pochettino keeps building more and more problems upon himself. Like Chelsea
Mm.
dropped into 14th place. You know what? They I'm looking at the table right now. They low key look like they could be in relegation because of their upcoming matches. Oh
Wait,
my
what are their upcoming
Hold
matches?
on, I'm looking right now. So they have a Carabao Cup this weekend against Brighton. Brighton is in such top form. It obviously won't matter for Premier League, but Chelsea are losing
Mhm.
that. Fulham, they have Fulham Monday, October 2nd. Then they have Burnley, which I think Burnley-Chelsea could be very 50-50 because Chelsea have not gained nothing. And then October 21st, Arsenal.
Well,
Um,
judging by how Burnley played against United, I think Burnley might win that one if Chelsea keeps up
yeah,
the shape that they're in right
if
now.
if Burnley literally let United beat them 1-0,
Hmm.
Chelsea are losing. Then October 28th they have Brentford. Okay, and then November 6th. Oh my goodness, Kayla, this gets worse and worse. October 28th, they have Brentford. Brentford have started off pretty good, even though they lost against Everton on Saturday. I don't think it will really bother them. Then November 6th, we have another London derby, Spurs Chelsea. And then November 12th, uh, Chelsea City. And then November 25th, Newcastle Chelsea. And then December 2nd, Chelsea Brighton. And then finally, December 6th, we have Man United versus Chelsea.
And that's our game.
That is our game. Kayla, I am so scared.
If Chelsea get relegated,
Stop.
that's
They can actually be in relegation. Like, I'm being dead serious.
I don't even know what to think about them anymore because I've always had something against them because you like them.
Yes.
But it's just I don't want them to go into they're Chelsea. Like it's
Yes.
Chelsea. It's a top team. Like the fact that we have to depend on the Burnley game for them to get points rather than like it being like against Liverpool or I don't know, Spurs even. Like you have to depend on one of like the teams that are already in relegation to possibly gain more points. I mean, it's just like it's crazy that a top team like that like they won the Champions Leagues, they won Premier Leagues. They just
Yeah.
I don't even know anymore.
The last time Chelsea were relegated was the 1987 to 88 season. So that's a good, I don't know how many years is that? Oh, 30 something.
30
30
something,
something
almost
years.
40. I don't know.
And I think this Chelsea team definitely can be relegated because I'm not clicking with them like at all. Like
Mm-mm.
they're not giving me like that team feeling like Manchester City is. I'm like leaning very City these days and also leaning very Liverpool, which we'll talk about soon because everyone knows I'm actually a Liverpool fan. Just kidding.
I know you're secretly a Liverpool fan, trust me. You've loved them for like 2 years. I just feel like Chelsea's your team, but like Liverpool is also your team.
Yeah, I am literally going back to the relegation thing. They literally can be relegated. That is
They could.
insane.
And I don't like saying it, but it's true. I'm sorry, but it's true. Isa, it's time to pick a new team. It's time.
I'm gonna have to pick Liverpool. If Chelsea get relegated, I'm literally hopping over to Liverpool because this is disgusting.
You
Okay,
can't just leave your team
I
behind.
can.
Fake fan.
Okay,
Honestly, fake fan.
I don't care. They these players, they're not good. Like
They're not. They're
they're
not performing. They're not
they're
doing what they're supposed to do.
literally the only player that I really rate and that I can think of is Raheem Sterling because he is like a big name. But all those other ones,
He needs other players to play to his full, and like skill level, and he doesn't have those other players.
I know that they're trying to do young things, bring in young players. You can't stop. You need that 30-year-old in your team.
Hmm.
I mean, they do have Thiago Silva, but Thiago Silva, he can't really speak English, which I'm not saying is like a bad thing, but like he can't lead the team in that way, and he can't just carry them.
No, he can't. He really can't.
I'm just so disappointed because Todd Bowley came in and ruined everything. Like,
I
get him
remember
out of here.
I remember we were talking about this when he came in, and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed." And I'm like, "You never know, but
Like, it's an American.
you were right. You were right. It's just nothing. Everything just started to go downhill. It was like, oh, it got a little bit better, and then it was just a ski slope down. It just got so bad.
We had literally 4 managers last season. 4. This is sad. Like, this isn't depressing for
But
Chelsea.
also, now that you just said that, I'm thinking maybe it could also like be like a big reason that they're playing like this is just the players. Like maybe it's not just Todd Bowley's fault because
It
four
is Todd Bowley's
managers.
fault.
No,
It
it
is
is, it
Todd.
is.
They
But
have
it,
Mauricio
like,
Pochettino.
I know that, but I'm just saying, maybe, just maybe, it could be the players are like not listening to the coaches or respecting them to the full respect. I don't know. I don't know how to like say it. I don't know how to word it. Do you
It's
kind of get what I'm trying to say?
I kind of get it, but like
It's like it's just like it's obviously it's Todd Bowley's fault for sure, but I don't know. I just feel like the players definitely have a lot to do with it. Maybe that they went through four managers. Maybe they just aren't working together with the
yes,
manager.
there's no cohesion in the
They're
team.
they're not working with the manager. The manager isn't working with them, and they have to keep going through more and more, and they just can't find the one. Like Tottenham has found theirs,
Oh
and it's just
yeah,
like
that's actually a really good point. That's actually really good.
I don't know.
Um,
I was just thinking like maybe you never
they
know.
haven't found their guy. That's what you're trying to say?
Yeah, they haven't found their guy. Yeah.
Like they had Graham Potter last year. He was amazing at Brighton, but he came to Chelsea and ruined his career. Then we
Okay,
had some
I don't.
interim guy that I have. Oh, go ahead. Sorry,
No, no, no. I was gonna say I don't know why they got rid of what's his name?
Thomas
Oh my gosh,
Tuchel.
Thomas Tuchel. Yep. I don't know why they got rid of
It
him.
was
I don't.
after a Dinamo Zagreb game in the Champions League. That next day, Thomas Tuchel was sacked. You know how upset I was?
I was no. We were. I think I was over at your house and we found out, and it was just. It was so annoying. It was like why? Why would they? He was building the team, and then they
I
sacked him,
love
and I was like,
Thomas Tuchel just because he had like what 4 games that he lost, right? You're gonna
yeah,
get back up. You can't
yeah.
just do that. Like, what
You
are
can
you?
just throw them. Like, look at where Chelsea is now. We were talking about them going into relegation.
This is
Going into relegation.
I I don't even know what to say. And we've spent like 10 minutes talking about Chelsea.
And
Maybe
how
we
like
go ahead.
no, 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 I don't have any words. It's just like how they can't
They can't do
Chelsea.
anything. They can't Chelsea. I think back to the Jose Mourinho days when they won Premier League and just the happy days, and now it's just dark skies. There's no more blue
hmm
skies. Maybe we should move on to a bit of a happier topic, Kayla. Liverpool winning against West Ham 3-1.
Liverpool.
Liverpool had a poor first half in this game, but they turned things around. Darwin Nunez and Diogo Jota really turned it around. Salah scored a penalty. I think Liverpool they have picked up their form since last season. They definitely have. Like last season, I just don't think it was anyone's like season. Like a bunch of these
It
big
was
teams.
United season.
Oh no, 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 no. Well, now it's not, Kayla.
Now it's
Stop
not.
living in the past. I just they Liverpool won against LASK in the Europa League, and I said in my predictions, like the first episode we did, I thought Liverpool were gonna end second, and I literally think they are. I mean Spurs. I think Spurs will end third, but that's for a different. That's it for a
Yeah.
different episode. I'm getting off track, but I love Liverpool. I they're just they have always been kind of like that team that has that cohesion that I
hmm
really like, and I can really just relate to those players. And the defensive line has always been my favorite, and obviously Trent is injured, so they had Joe Gomez in instead. They have some two incredible players in the midfield, and Alexis McAllister and Dominic Szoboszlai. They have been incredible, and Darwin Nunez has really picked up his form, and West Ham has also not started. I mean, I'm sorry, they have started off well, and I think Liverpool just showed that they're the better side, and I'm very happy that there was something.
Liverpool. Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say Liverpool definitely picked up their feet. Like I feel like next season they'll be back to their old form. They're definitely going up the right way right now. They're not going up the right way. They're going the right way in form wise and like cohesion and everything. They're just they're definitely working and fixing their last season.
Speaking of Newcastle from earlier, they actually managed to get their biggest away win in history, winning 8-0 against Sheffield United. Sean Longstaff scored the first goal. Dan Burns scored. Sven Botman scored. Callum Wilson scored. Anthony Gordon scored. Miguel Almiron scored. Bruno Guimaraes scored. Alexander Isak scored. That was 8 different goal scorers. They
That's
absolutely ran riot in this game.
they really did. And I mean, obviously I expected them to win
Yeah.
against Sheffield, but 8-0 is crazy. And 8 different goal scorers too. It's just I'm proud of them. I am.
Yeah. We can't get that carried away saying they
Mm-mm.
went 8-0 and we can't say like they're back. Oh my gosh, they're back. It is Sheffield. And
It is.
this is, you know, this is not going to help them when they face PSG in a week or two. Like they need to perform against big teams. And I I don't know if this is gonna help them. Obviously, kudos to them because I feel like they really need it. It's like a confidence booster, right?
Yeah.
Like we said that, and 8 different goal scorers. Like I just want to talk about when Manchester City played Sheffield United August 27th. Man City only won 2-1, and Newcastle managed to get an 8-0 victory.
I feel like just Sheffield had a different mindset probably going in against City. It's just also I am worried about the PSG and if PSG plays what's the team? Newcastle,
Newcastle.
that they're gonna see that they won 8-0 and they'll be okay, well we really gotta bring like, A game on this and they're gonna be even more difficult to play against. Because like you said, Newcastle can't be like, oh, we're gonna win everything now because it was 8-0, but
Yeah.
it was Sheffield. It was Sheffield.
Sheffield is in 20th place. Just gotta
Hmm.
say, maybe Chelsea will be there in a few weeks. You never know. They are actually very okay. I should stop talking about Chelsea. This is about Newcastle. um, this is. I was actually like very shocked. I actually thought it was just gonna be like maybe 1-0, 2-1. Like I didn't like Manchester City did not win eight
Hmm.
to zero against. Um, like they actually Newcastle have good players, and I'm gonna keep bringing this up. How did 8 different goal scorers? What? Like I'm pretty sure it was Kieran Trippier who got a hat trick and assist as well. And like we said for Man United, this is a confidence booster, and I think that they need that
Hmm.
for the games coming up for Champions League, and hopefully they can kind of start rebuilding their form that they had last season.
I just really hope Newcastle doesn't like take this as, oh, we don't really need to whatever they did this game to win 8-0. Hopefully they keep doing it because I don't want them to think, okay, well, we just did amazing. We can just do whatever we want now, you know? Like, no, you got to keep performing.
Yeah. So some other games in the Premier League this weekend included Crystal Palace and Fulham, another London derby technically. They drew 0-0. Luton Town and Wolves also drew 1-1. Luton Town getting their first points of the Premier League season. Woo!
Woohoo!
Then we had Brentford Everton. This was actually a very surprising game. Brentford lost 1-3 against Everton, which I did not expect because Everton could not score goals for anything so far this season, but they managed to get a win against a Brentford side that has started off really well. Brighton also won 3-1 against Bournemouth. Not surprising. Brighton have been amazing, and that's all we have for you guys today. Very packed
Yes,
episode.
very. Thank you everyone for listening. Please follow our Instagram and YouTube at Very Factual Podcast. Join in next week.